CCM is concerned about Connecticut's growing crisis of disconnected youth, young people who are not engaged in school or the workforce. Today, we're spotlighting an organization that's addressing this issue through art, mentorship, and meaningful professional development. NXTHVN, a nonprofit arts organization in the Dixwell community of New Haven, was founded by renowned artist Titus Kaffar and private equity leader Jason Price. NXTHVN offers fellowships to emerging artists and curators and runs a high school apprentice program designed to empower local youth. Through hands-on experience, mentorship, and access to creative resources, NXTHVN is building a model for how cultural institutions can invest deeply in their communities. Joining us today on the Municipal Voice is Student Program Manager Jay Kemp. The Municipal Voice is the Connecticut Conference of Municipalities podcast in collaboration with WNHH LP 103.5 FM. I'm your host, Matt Ford. As always, be sure to give us a like and let us know what you're thinking in the comments. CCM's Municipal Voice podcast continues to present a key forum on important state and local issues. The views expressed do not necessarily reflect the consensus views of CCM or member municipal leaders. Jay, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure being here.
Okay, so for my first question, I guess, is it NXTHVN?
NXTHVN, yes.
Okay, what do you guys have against vowels?
I think we just got to be cool.
Gotta be cool. All right, that works. So, could you tell us a little bit about NXTHVN and your role there?
Yes. So NXTHVN is an art institution where we select 9 unbelievable artists from all over the world. I think we get over 1,000 applicants all over the world to join this residency where they do about 9 months of very rigorous curriculum of learning how to articulate your work, how to sell your work, all the ins and outs that a lot of artists don't get until they reach a certain status of their career as an artist. And Titus Kaffar, who was one of the founders, he understood that too well because of his success and where he was able to experience when he reached a certain height. So he wanted to take that education, that learning, and bring it to Black and brown artists who normally in the art world space are not exposed to a lot of different insights, a lot of different wisdom and education regarding their and so he created this program where he can support them. They get free room and board. They get a studio. They get, an opportunity to speak to donors, to speak to art collectors, to speak to, so many different people and showcase their work on a much higher platform. And so the apprentice program came in where he told me that he just wanted something that was going to be serving high school students and create this next generation of artists, where each high school student would be paired with one of those fellows. And every year, so they join the program and they join as a freshman. All 4 years, they get paired with a fellow, and they just work with that fellow and get exposed to their artwork. And at the end of every year, we do some type of exhibition or project to highlight the success that the apprentices had. So,
very cool. Program with the high school kids that came after.
Yeah.
Okay. It's because it sounds like for the regular program for the artists and residents, it's not so much you're not teaching them art, you're teaching them like the business of art, of selling yourself, so. The business end of it. Yeah. Okay.
And sometimes
they're not, they're already artists, like they're picked out based
they're
on
already
their work being interesting or whatever. And now it's like, all right, we're going to help you learn how to sell yourself in a lot of ways and art and just how to access those kind of things.
For sure. Yeah. A lot of them
they don't necessarily teach you that in school, even in the good school. Then if you, haven't gone to art school, even how are you supposed to figure out how to meet gallery owners and, things like that.
Exactly. No, that's exactly right. And sometimes they're almost too successful. They're just all too, they're out there so much. But there is such a benefit in the curriculum that Titus offers, and as well as connecting to other Black and brown artists in the art world.
Yeah. Just briefly talking about Titus, who's one of the founders of this. Is he from the New Haven area, or did he go to school here?
No, he went to school here in at Yale. He's
Yeah, he
I
went to
believe,
Yale, but he's
yeah.
very
The
successful at
school's
this point, obviously. Yeah. Because I remember him
yeah.
displaying at the New Haven Open Studios, I guess when he was probably a student at that point, years and years ago, and being like, wow, like,
Oh wow.
yeah,
Yeah.
this guy's going somewhere. Next Haven was founded with a mission to empower artists and curators and to kind of foster a sustainable creative community. Can you talk about how that mission
Mm.
intersects with supporting, disconnected youth in New Haven?
Mm. Yeah, I mean, it intersects in a way where, I mean, New Haven schools, specifically the public schools, a lot of them are taking out art. The first things to go are art programs. And one of the things that I always say is that the imagination is a muscle, and
Hmm.
we have to be able to keep developing it. And when life starts lifing, a lot of young people who become adults, they start adulting, and the fire, that flame, that imagination ends up becoming very weak. And it's
Hmm.
almost impossible sometimes to think of a world and imagine a world outside of themselves, outside of what
Yeah.
they may see. And so with the apprentice program and with Next Haven, and even just where we're located, it
Hmm.
screams possibility. It
Hmm.
speaks growth mindset. And so when we select young people to join the program, many times these young people, they might not even know what they love art. They might
Hmm.
not even know if they love art. It's not
Yeah.
a program to take already developed great artists and make them better. It's a program that allows young people to explore themselves through creativity, through
Hmm.
imagination, through the work that we do together. And that's really kind of how it intersects. We
Hmm.
and then they also get exposed to other artists who chose the path to say, hey, I'm not going to go the same route that a lot of people might have expected me to go to. That was a safe route,
Hmm.
the most reliable job. This idea
Yeah.
of a starving artist. A lot of them did not subscribe to that narrative, and so
Hmm.
here they are modeling to these young people what it looks like when you just really stay on your path and feed the passion that really emboldens you.
Hmm.
And that exposure, along with me working with me, that
Hmm.
works with them from a social emotional learning development aspect, and also stretching them in areas where they might not feel most secure and confident.
Hmm.
Just all the it collectively just gives them this experience that really makes them feel more of their own power, and they
Yeah.
just move through life better socially, emotionally, and creatively. So it kind of that's kind of really how it intersects, myself along with the fellows, and just this building
Hmm.
itself. If people ever go here, it is on 169 Henry Street. It is in the
Okay.
middle of a place that you would not expect this beautiful building to exist. There's a corner store up the street. There's a liquor store
Yep.
up the street. Get 'em Boy Boxing is next door. And there's big windows too, by the way. Big windows you could see right through. And let me tell you, the community respects the land. They don't loiter. They don't vandalize. They love to have this beautiful space in here. And just it being here already speaks
Mm.
about what possibility looks like to young people walking by. So
Yeah,
that's kind
walking
of
by a big open window and seeing art in there instead of, advertisements for soft drinks or whatever it is. It's got to be
right, right,
really refreshing
exactly.
walking around. Are you an artist? Is that how you came to this, or how did you get involved?
I'm an artist in my own right. I'm a writer, a
Okay.
screenwriter, and also I would say a producer, editor. I worked a lot in media. I was
Okay.
on 94.3 WIBC for a while, and I was on, I worked on a lot of production sets. So
Hmm.
my world is first media, and then I
Hmm.
also have a social emotional learning coaching program for teachers, adults, and
Hmm.
then a life coaching program for young adults. So my world, kind of was brought to Titus from
Hmm.
somebody else who knew how works with young people and said,
Yeah.
look, I know you're developing this youth program. I know you want it to kind of be developed and get off the ground. And here's somebody I think is great for you. And
Hmm.
that's kind of how I came into it. So I
Yeah.
would say my creativity here is exercised best through working with young people on taking the ideas they have and
Hmm.
somehow synthesizing them, and
Yeah.
just getting them all aligned so we can make a really great project and experience for the people at the end of the year.
That's really cool. The fellows and the students, you mentioned that you come from a film background. Are some of them doing film or video or multimedia? Is it, all sorts of
The young
different?
people, the apprentices,
Hmm.
yeah. Some of them, yeah, some of them, and that's another thing that's beautiful about this program. First of all, it's still growing,
Hmm.
and many times we've had people come in with video, with film experience, or they just have a passion for that. And
Hmm.
I will connect them to someone who is doing that, someone who is
Yeah.
successful in that. Even if it's not one of the fellows, they might have a
Hmm.
fellow, but they also work with maybe our film producer that also works in the building at times. And I will say something that I just noticed the other day, a whole bunch of different apprentices have come to visit. And I will
Hmm.
say every single one of them has gone on to pursue, well, just about every single one of them, to
Hmm.
pursue what they love, to
Yeah.
pursue. One of them is doing film produce or media producing at Georgia State, and
Hmm.
she's doing all the college games. She's working in the back, working the
Yeah.
cameras, like giving direction. Another one is his passion is art, but it's also business. So he took it upon himself, as I've been pushing to them
Hmm.
about social capital and creating a network and relationships. He wanted to go to the co-founder, Jason Price, and work
Hmm.
with him on business meetings and learning how business meetings go, learning about,
Yeah.
all of that. And so now he's traveling the world, extremely successful in his business and what
Hmm.
he's doing. And I love that for the young
Yeah.
people who left
Yeah,
school.
that's interesting. Have you had anybody from the program kind of leave and then kind of come back, or continue to participate now
All of them.
as
Yeah,
the
just about.
volunteer stuff? Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
just
cool.
about all of them. Tonight, we have a great show coming up tonight here at Next Haven of the young people's projects, and we're intertwining theater and visual arts. And I have one, two, three apprentices that will be helping out, volunteering their time and being part of this program tonight.
Hmm.
And then another artist, another young person, Makai Banks, who was
Hmm.
just performing at Cafe Nine the other day.
Okay.
It's just amazing to see the success and I'll tell you, sometimes parents have to be prepared because some of them may think, hey, my child was going to go into nursing.
Hmm.
Now she wants to be a graphic designer for her own business. I don't know how I feel about that. And I'm like,
Yeah.
hey, listen, adults, we cannot diminish our young people's imagination, and we got to give them room to explore.
You are listening to the Municipal Voice on WNHH 103.5 FM.
What does a typical week look like for an apprentice?
So a typical week would look like, let's see. So if you have a schedule set up with your fellow of Monday, Thursday, and Friday, typical
Hmm.
would look like you coming in Monday, maybe even early, if you want to come in early to the building and just do
Hmm.
some homework. And then you'd work with your fellow on what they're doing, or maybe they help you with what you're doing. And then a Wednesday, if you came in that Wednesday, they are mandated to come in every Wednesday
Okay.
to work with me from 3:30 to 5:30. And a meeting like that would look like it would look half and half. Half of it would look like personal development, team development,
Hmm.
and then the other half would look like, okay, what project are you working on? And let's put some time into working on that and developing what we need to do for our project. And then Thursday, you'd come in and work with your fellow again. Friday,
Hmm.
you'd work with your fellow again for a couple hours. And that's really it, you know. But
Yeah.
you can always come in during the week. There's some kids that just want to be here. They
Hmm.
just want to be here. They want to be around the art. They want to create and just kind of escape here. So
Hmm.
yeah, a typical week could just look like working with your fellow or just working on your craft.
Yeah. When you're matching up the apprentices and the fellows, do you kind of go with, their style of art or their medium, or is it just kind of random? Like, do you necessarily have to put an oil painter with an oil painter, or
You
can you
know,
mix it up?
it is always a mix. It's very intuitive.
Hmm.
The joke is that there's always like this sixth sense that I have of pairing the apprentices with fellows. I do not do it off of what art skill they have. It's
Hmm.
just um, this might be a little little out there for some people listening, but it is very much an energetic thing. It's a
Hmm.
feeling that I just had. Specifically, Caitlin, who connected us for this.
Yep, she's our intern now, so
Okay, yeah. So I
yeah.
connected her with Vincent, and I just felt like they would go well together. And oh my
Hmm.
goodness, what a relationship they built. I don't know how,
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if they're still not in touch.
yeah. Yeah, that's interesting because, they're not really necessarily teaching art skills per se as the business and the mindset of being an artist and making a business out of it. You can cross those different mediums and whatever because it doesn't really matter as much.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah. So like what sort of skills, artistic, social, professional, do apprentices walk away with after their time at Next Haven?
It so usually it really depends on where they do need to develop, but mostly time management skills.
Hmm.
We have a timeline that we have to stick to be ready for an opening,
Hmm.
and but in the midst of that, there's also their life, school, their personal
Hmm.
life commitments there. There is a spoken word event that we do every year that we have to prepare for.
Hmm.
They come in thinking they got time, and then they realize, oh wow, this time is
It's
going
gonna
by.
it's gonna go real quick, yeah.
Yeah, and so your management of time is something they walk away with. If you are hesitant on public speaking, you will be
Hmm.
put out there to impromptu times to speak about your work, to speak about the
Hmm.
program, or we might do events. We did a TEDx talk a couple years back, which definitely challenged those that were usually shy and quiet.
Yeah.
So there's public speaking, there is time management, there's also networking. How are you
Hmm.
building relationships in this building? How are you using the relationships in this building that are supporting you? Some people I won't introduce you to. You just have to walk up to them and make your
And
introduction,
say hi, yeah.
and say hi and create that relationship. So a lot of the skills are transferable in their professional career for that purpose. It's for
Yeah.
that.
Regardless, even outside of art, yeah, just learning how
Yes,
to, yeah.
yes. And then it's also self-reflection, being
Hmm.
able to look at your thoughts, feel your thoughts, and if you can't articulate them, seeing that, making it where art can be a space for you to express that, for you to talk
Yeah.
about, because sometimes art, permeate. It speaks to the part of the soul where no words are. There's just no words
Yeah.
there, and art can do it.
Definitely. How do you reach and recruit potential apprentices? Do you work directly with local high schools or community organizations?
I do I do outreach to high schools and let them know the
Hmm.
applications are open. And sometimes it's just young people that I have maybe known when they were in grade school.
Hmm.
And I'm like, I know this will be good for you. You should really apply. And that's their
Hmm.
first step. There's a apprentice we have now where I met him as a freshman in a different high school, and I
Hmm.
always knew he was special. And then I saw him maybe two or three times a couple years later when he was oh, actually the next year. I saw him the next
Hmm.
year two or three times. And I'm like, listen, man, you have to apply here. And
Yeah.
now he just loves it. He just doesn't
Yeah.
leave. Comes early, leaves late.
Yeah.
You
Do you
know,
ever do you ever feel like a baseball scout or something, like spotting talent early?
uh, yeah, yeah.
A little bit.
I guess sometimes,
Yeah,
with
like
some
that kid's got
people,
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But when I say that kid's got it, it's usually not because of their art skill. It's
Mm.
usually just I could just tell they're searching and
Hmm.
they're willing to take the step and see, okay, what's here. Some kids are just not willing to take that step. I'll still
Yeah.
give opportunity to do so, but you could tell those that are just willing to come for the check. And I always tell them, like, if you're coming here for the check, don't waste your time because the social capital and the experience you get here is worth way more if you take the opportunity, if you take advantage of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Um, the apprenticeship program culminates in, I said, there's an annual event. How
Yeah.
much ownership do the students have over planning and curating that experience? What do some of
Um,
the past like projects look like?
yeah, so ownership in the theme. Um,
Hmm.
I will say that it was kind of different because at first, I would say the first year, um, I worked very closely with the apprentices to think of
Hmm.
what theme they wanted to do and why they wanted to do this theme. And then they
Hmm.
start creating their projects around that.
Yeah.
But it was, my director told me at one point that I have to have something already set, already ready
Mm.
before the year comes in. So we already know what we're doing. We already know what project we're going to do.
Hmm.
I wasn't too big of a fan of that. I like the synergy of us working
Yeah.
together and creating it, but I did
Was it
that.
kind of just like a time consideration?
Yeah, yeah, a time consideration. Because we don't know the time that it might take to decide on something. So just make the decision. So I did do
Yeah.
that. I'd say for the next few years I did that.
Hmm.
But even though I did that, it was still about the work of I don't want to do it and say, like, for example, we did Legacy last year. That was
Hmm.
the theme, and the project was going to be a tour. We partnered with an organization called Cardi,
Okay.
and we installed the artwork into the bus. We put vinyl
Hmm.
around the bus that says, "What is legacy to you?" And people can sign the vinyl of what legacy is to them. And we went to all different parts of New Haven to showcase the work and talk about legacy. However, it was important for them to understand why legacy was so important, why that theme was so important, and what it was to them before they could do their work.
Yeah.
And we brought in McLean Thomas, who is an amazing, famous artist. She came in, did a little project with them about legacy, and eventually, after doing a few sessions, they then started to explore what legacy was to them and they created their work. Now, as
Yeah.
far as planning, that's all on me.
Yeah.
Planning it, the coordinating and the getting the labels printed, getting the vinyl on there, promoting it, mostly on me.
Yeah.
They just have to focus on creating their projects and being ready to showcase it for the opening. That's their main ownership.
Yeah.
And if they want to sell their work, we have avenues for them to go and really sell their work. May
That's cool.
sold his work too, so they can do that as well because they have their own
Yeah.
life. I
Hmm.
have to be considerate of they are high school students, and it's so easy for adults to say, "Oh, you don't got to pay bills." But man, listen, they still got a lot going on.
Yeah.
Adolescence is real. I would never want to experience adolescence again.
Yeah. No, once was enough. What Since you started the program with the youth, have you learned anything from them that changed the way you do the program or the way you see the program?
Yeah, I would say definitely what changed for me is being much more proactive in my administrative approach,
Hmm.
in making sure that because I'm a writer, I am an artist, I'm a creative, and not many creatives are super good at administrative things.
Hmm. Yeah.
So I had to really improve in that area, but more importantly, not improve at it necessarily for my job, but more so that they feel more prepared, that they
Hmm.
have all the information they need, that they feel like the timing and the way that they're managing their time, that they have more power over that.
Yeah.
I think that's what I really learned. Every year, I'm thinking about how can I make this year much more manageable for them.
Hmm.
How can I support them in how they do manage their time and see, and how can I also be mindful and be proactive about what they'll deal with in the school year? If they're
Yeah.
seniors, I have to know that towards May, it's going to get crazy for them. They're about to
Yeah.
graduate. Even if they're not, if they're juniors, they got prom coming up. So it's just really
Yeah.
it was really on an administrative level, um, really making sure that I can support them and their parents in a much better way.
Yeah.
And I know that I needed that for my own life, my own
Mm.
personal life. I was like, this same planning you got to do for some things that you're doing, things that you're pursuing,
Hmm.
and just be consistent with that.
So it can be inspirational both ways.
Oh, oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's how it goes. I mean,
Yeah.
I think I heard a quote. Somebody said that they said to their mentor, "I'm so happy that you're my mentor." And the mentor said, "I'm happy that you're mine." You know,
Yeah.
uh, so it really does go both ways like that.
So Next Haven has expanded like a lot in, just a few
Yeah.
years really. It's gone from having, just a fellowship wing and now having the co-working space, which is cool, an art gallery,
Mhm.
and then the artist in residency tower and reception spaces. More
Yeah.
to come. How do you see Next Haven
For
and
sure.
the program kind of growing and expanding in the coming years?
In the coming years, as far as apprentice program, I would like to be able to have avenues of creativity that can serve all young people.
Hmm.
Like, meaning if you're in film, we have someone that is unbelievable in film. They will be
Hmm.
here. You can work with them. If you do music, if you do writing, if you do visual arts, I'd like to be able to see the apprentice program expand in that way.
Hmm.
Um, the student program department itself, so the apprentice program is a program that is part of a bigger vision, which is the student program department. And with the
Okay.
student program department, one thing that we do have coming very soon is now this program will be 2 Saturdays a month, and it will be for students who are very clear that they love visual arts, that
Hmm.
they want to pursue visual art, that they have a passion for it. They have maybe some drawings already, or they want to
Hmm.
develop a portfolio. And so this program will be taught by Lime Academy. Their
Okay.
educators at Lime Academy will be coming here 2 Saturdays a month to give fundamental teachings to young artists with really how to sculpt, how to draw, drawing the lines, things that they'll learn in college. They'll be getting
Hmm.
that teaching, and the goal is for them to develop their own portfolio and give them a much better springboard that they could jump off of into college through
Hmm.
art. So that's another program that's going to happen specifically for those type of artists. And I
Yeah.
just see this expanding more into something like that, where we have media and we have whether you want to do streaming, podcasting, videography, we have something for you there. And that's where I see it expanding. I don't see it just being visual arts.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, like a whole media kind of universe for
Absolutely.
them.
Mixed media. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that'd be very cool. Um, what's the long-term vision for specifically the youth development in this space?
Long-term vision. Do you mean long-term vision in regards to what would happen in the future for young people when they leave here or just while they're here?
Uh, Either one, really.
I'd like to definitely see we have a college prep program, and one thing
Hmm.
that I want to do very soon is bring back apprentice alum who've graduated
Hmm.
and give the young people that are currently in the program real college preparation. Like,
Hmm.
let me give you the lessons that you'll only get once you experience the college life, the adult life, you know.
Yeah,
I think that's one way that what I see in the long term, that alum being something that's very large, a
yeah,
large, several cohorts being able to do a retreat where we can go away for a weekend and really work with the current cohort of apprentices.
hmm.
Um, I also see possibly, in the future, some type of talent agency or something out of Next
For
Haven that is,
performing, sort of.
yeah, yeah, that is really being able to work with young people on looking at contracts. Maybe
Hmm.
if you're a musician, can we sign you to a year contract where you can learn about contracts, you can learn about how to book your gigs, you got a manager, you get
Yeah,
real experience into what it's like to be a professional artist in whatever field. And then you could go off and do your own thing, but
yeah,
I think what I see in the long term is some type of support that way,
yeah,
where whatever you do, whatever you go as a student in that field, we have the means to manage, support, and even push your career into a much better place, other than just going to college, which is
yeah,
great. But I just think the experience in that way is also very important.
yeah. But it's not necessarily for everybody. Some people don't,
Yeah,
but
some
they
people
still need.
don't.
And
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
if someone was interested in learning more about your programs or donating or whatever, where should they go? I assume you have a website.
Yes, they could go to www.nexthaven.com. Applications are always,
NXTHVN.com.
yes, that's it.
Okay, I'll put
And
the words up on screen for this part so they can see it.
all right, perfect, perfect. And they're always the applications are always, excuse me, always open for apprentices.
Hmm.
Could always join. They could always apply. Actually, if this goes up soon, then they could apply right away because we will be doing callbacks and looking at applications at the end of the month. Myself and all the apprentices look at applications, so they're involved in the hiring
Oh,
process.
that's cool. So
Yeah.
the current apprentices help pick the next generation, as it was.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
that's cool.
Exactly. Exactly. And we have to when apprentices graduate is when we have to replace them. So we have four people graduating. So we have four slots open.
So it's when they graduate, and you don't necessarily have the same number graduating every year, so it can change a little bit.
Right, right, right.
Some year you have more seniors than others.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
really cool.
Yeah.
Well, Jay, thank you so much for speaking with us today about Next Haven. It's a cool program. We'd like to thank our guest, Jay Kemp. The Municipal Voice is a co-production by CCM and WNHH 103.5 FM. Joe Thornton is our executive producer. Christopher Gilson is our producer. Harry Draws on the boards, and I'm Matt Ford, your host. CCM's communications interns are Caitlin Higgins and Zachary Hallis. Be sure to check out our Facebook page and give us a like, and watch out for our CCM chat series on our YouTube page.